Hello, everyone. Nancy Matthews here, and I am back with another episode of the Be Real, Get Real podcast. And give me just a moment. Just want to say good morning to everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's St. Patty's Day. I probably should be wearing green. And this was an evergreen interview, so I didn't want to be stuck. And I don't have a whole lot of green. It's not one of my colors, actually, but I am Irish. So give some comments down below if you are Irish, and even if you're not Irish, celebrate today like an Irish person, which means we tap into luck, we tap into good fortune, family, and friends. So welcome to our broadcast today. As you're scrolling through, please take a moment and share this video. We're going to have a great conversation with our guest this morning, Shantha Mony. Did I say that right? Mony or Money? Money. Yeah. I like it. Money. Okay, good. Shantha Mony is with us, and we're going to be talking today about don't give up on your dream. And I know she's going to have some really powerful insights for us to share. So share this with your friends. Let everybody get to know the extraordinary Shantha today. And I'm going to officially kick us off with the Be Real, Get Real broadcast. So welcome to Be Real, Get Real. This is Women's Prosperity Network's podcast channel where we feature real women sharing real stories of their lives, their businesses, and wherever else the conversation takes us as we all come together as one, all as women on a mission, impact-focused women making a positive difference in the world. Today, I have the privilege of introducing you to Shantha Mony with Luxury Destinations Concierge. She is a travel professional who is committed and passionate to educating people about the benefits of travel and specifically luxurious travel. So welcome, Shantha.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a privilege to be here with you.
I am delighted to have you with us. And actually, I'm going to start off with a question. When we discussed in advance what today's topic was going to be about, it was don't give up on your dream. Can you tell a little bit about how you learned that lesson in life?
Thank you. Yeah, it goes back to growing up. My dream when growing up, I had two dreams. One was, I grew up in India. Let me just backtrack. Mm-hmm. I grew up in India, and one of my dreams was to come here to the US.
Dream come true, check.
Yeah, check that. And then the second one was to be in the travel industry. And in the beginning, I didn't know really what I wanted to do in the travel. But as I progressed, I kind of knew, I wanted to have my own company and, be able to provide things for people. So that was my two dreams. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. But, just keep going step by step and keeping up with it was really the focus that I had. So growing up, my dad and I, our family as a whole, we traveled a lot. Most of it was just within India. We would take trips around the summers and do that. So the travel bug was in me all along. Mm-hmm. And then I'm the last of 6 kids. So,
wow.
Yeah, so 3 of my siblings moved here for different reasons to the US for different reasons, for studies and work, and they were all here. So I grew up with, looking up to them, enjoying all their experiences, hearing about it when they came home. So I knew that I wanted to be here. So fast forward, I graduated from college, and I thought, okay, let me go to the US and go on a tourist visa, right? I could just go and visit my family and come back. And at that time, and I'm sure even now they're pretty strict, but they were pretty strict about giving visas to young adults who did not have any attachments back home. Mm-hmm. Other, my family was there, but, nothing to bring me back there. So they denied my visa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they denied my visa. And I was so disappointed because I thought, okay, here I am. I got all my tickets. I'm going to be here visiting them. And of course, they gave me back my visa with a big stamp on it that says denied.
Wow.
So I couldn't apply back, even if I did apply back, I'm sure they'd have denied it again because my situation hadn't changed. I was young, single. I wasn't working at that time because I had just graduated and I wasn't really looking into.
So interesting. If you believe if you had a job or were married with kids in your home country, they probably would have granted it because they figured, she'll just come for a visit and then go back.
Right, right.
Fascinating. Okay.
And you hear all about the stories these days. You even have the show. It says 90 Days Fiance. They come
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And I truly understand, their situation. They have to put down some things, but I was so determined, and I was furious at that time, because I didn't understand it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to cross the border illegally and come here, and but that's not the way it goes. So you do have to follow the protocols and things. So I was a big disappointment for me. So that was the disappointment. The second disappointment for me was not really a disappointment, but it was more of a disappointment for my parents. Growing up, I know everybody's aspirations for their children is to be a doctor or a professor or an engineer, especially in India. Engineers and doctors was what the parents really wanted their kids to be. And most of my family, all my siblings were either doctors, engineers, or professors. And that wasn't the route I wanted to take.
Right. And you're like, I'm going to go into the travel industry. And they're like, that's not secure. That's not safe. How are you going to do that? And P.S.
Yeah. So that was a big disappointment for them. And,
but P.S. we're in the midst of a pandemic, and the travel industry took a major hit this past year. So we'll come back to that in a moment.
Right. So anyway, they supported me after that because I did some travel courses there and hang. But let's go back to my visa status. Of course, that happened after that. I got married, had kids.
All in India?
All in India.
Okay.
All in India. So as soon as we got married, my husband at that time, he knew my vision and my dream, and he was all for it. So as soon as we got married, we applied for our visa. It took us 8 years.
Wow.
It took us 8 years for us to get a visa. So we eventually got our green card, came here legally. We came here with $1,000 in our pockets. At that time, we couldn't bring too much of money out of India. So we came with just suitcases and $1,000 in our pocket.
And your children probably too.
My children, yeah. They were young. They were 4 and 6. So they were young. Wow. So we had to come here. And fortunately, because I had family here, we stayed with my brothers. And we looked for a job. And my husband, he's an engineer. So fortunate enough, he got a job and we settled. And, that wasn't the right time for me even to think about starting a business. I had other obligations, starting a life here, supporting the family, putting the kids through college, So my focus at that time was totally different, wasn't in the travel at all. So I took a corporate job. And I know many of you do that. And many of us, once we get there, we get a little comfortable. It's hard to give that up.
Well, and so before we go too deep, I'm glad you brought that piece up. And I also want to say that it's okay to get a corporate job, because look how it served you and your family and the people that you met and how you grew in that process. And like you're about to share, you never gave up on that dream. You knew, somewhere it's going to, should I still do that? It still spoke to you, tugged at you, right?
Yeah, it did. It did. And I'm very thankful for my corporate career, because that gave me the foundation to grow my business and be where I am today, because that, taught me a lot, from management and project management, time management, and everything that we learn. But I did start my travel business while I was in corporate. So I did start it, and I worked evenings and weekends. It was tough. But, you gotta, you can't take away one from the other. You have to do both. You have to do your 9-to-5 job and support that.
Well, and I think there comes a point where you make a decision and a little bit of sacrifice in some areas. So you could have quit your job and gone full time, and instead what you sacrificed was a little bit of extra time. Maybe you didn't watch as much television or something to create this space for your dream. And I really want everybody to hone in on that. Your dream requires time, attention, love, and commitment for it to be birthed, just like we will with our children, right? Or anything that's our gardens, that requires time, attention, and love and focus. And you doing that while you were still in your corporate, I would imagine, allowed you to have a more solid foundation when you decided to go full time in your business.
Yes, yes, it did allow me to grow, just one client at a time
Yeah.
doing that. And it came a point, you have to step out in faith. It's easy to get comfortable. It was a big step. It was a big decision. And trust me, I was worried because at that point, because I'm giving up a whole salary,
Yeah.
I'm giving that up.
Benefits.
I'm giving all the benefits up. Fortunately, because I had waited, I completed my obligations of putting my kids through college, or at least where they were able to help, or in some sort of way or the other. But you have to step out in faith, and never look back. I never did look back. So I did take an early retirement, stepped out in faith, and that was, I think, the best decision that I've made. It was just the right time. And people may not have a business dream, but whether it is a personal, whatever it may be, don't give up on that. Sometimes you may get outside influences crushing that. But just if that's in your passion, if that's in your faith, put faith, go in faith, step out in faith, and just do it.
So good. So good. So how long ago was that?
That's about 8 years now since I stepped out of
8 years. All right. So I'm going to ask a question. So you're in your dream profession, and COVID hits. Everything related to travel gets shut down. Can you share some, suggestions or tips for coping with that, and still holding your dream in the face of everything on the outside saying you should do something else, right? Because that's really what's happened. So
Yeah.
give some, how did you cope with all of that?
A lot of us have been affected with that, but what I've learned is, you just got to keep in touch with your clients, keep in touch. If whatever you're doing, if you're doing the social media, just keep going with that inspiration. I've been inspiring people to, you may not be able to do it now, but it's never too late to start thinking about, planning about it. I had one of my clients who said, they would get together with a family and they would look at the map and say, where should we go when this is all done? So, you have a vision, and you just got to keep on that. And then when the time is right, if it's right for you, then you step out and do that. So that's what I've been doing, whatever ways I can keep in touch with people. I've been sending cards, sending inspiring notes, or whatever it may be, just bringing that out. So just keep in touch with people and let them know.
I love it. I love it. And I think the topic today about don't give up on your dreams is applicable to people who've dreamed of going to Hawaii or Bali or Bora Bora or, Africa on a safari. Don't give up on that dream. And I think one of the main lessons that this pandemic has showed us when everything did shut down, and, I was in the midst of canceling flights and am I going to get my money back? And is this going to happen? You must work with a travel professional. And yeah, you can book all this stuff on your own and you can go online, but how much time is it taking you? And do you really understand the nuances? So I personally, anytime I'm planning a trip that's, intricate, I always use a travel professional.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, that is important because we're there for you, when you're traveling miles and miles away. The other thing I want to touch on about, may not just be personal travel, but if you have a dream that if you're a coach or a speaker and you wanted to hold your own event in a retreat or anywhere, that's so important that you have somebody behind you to do that.
Yes.
And, again, it may not be the right time, but if it is, then step out, get in touch. There are so many ways that we can make it happen. So I've heard a lot of coaches and, oh yeah, I would love to do. It is possible, and don't give up on that.
Yeah, good. And since I have you, before we wrap up, I would imagine some of our audience is curious on what are the restrictions or guidelines around travel like right now? Like, do you have to get tested before you get on a plane, go to a hotel? Do you need to be vaccinated? Any insights around those things? I have questions.
Yeah. A lot of places require you definitely to get the testing. And usually most of it is like 72 hours before you travel.
Okay.
But they also have when you come back into the country, they expect you to get a test too. So we have a lot of resorts in Mexico and the Caribbean is open right now. And then, of course, you can go to Hawaii, but there also you get to get the testing. But a lot of the resorts in those places actually let you have the testing right in the facility there, right in the resort before you come back and you get the test. So they make it really easy for you. They really
Oh,
make it
wow.
for you.
So I go to the resort, I
Mhm.
get tested before I go. I go
Mhm.
to the resort and they give me a test before I head back so that I
Yeah,
don't need to quarantine for 14 days.
right. Because it's, yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant addition.
Yeah, and then a couple of the resorts, some of the nicer resorts have even gone a step further. In the event that while you're there, before you come back, say you've been tested positive and you have to stay back, their insurance would actually cover you for that time frame because it's a big expense if you have to stay somewhere for 14 days and you're not prepared.
Hello, yeah.
But I always recommend, people take travel insurance. You got to look at the rules because sometimes, they may not cover the COVID going forward, but you have to look at the rules. But it's always, whether it's COVID or not, always travel with travel insurance.
Great advice. Great advice. All right. So, thank you for inspiring us today to never give up on our dreams, especially our dreams about travel, because I got lots of dreams. Last April, I was scheduled to go to St. Croix in April, and I had never been there, and I was so excited, and then I didn't get to go. And I haven't gone anywhere since. So I'm looking forward to traveling. And thank you about those tips to make travel easier for us right now. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up today's episode of the Be Real, Get Real podcast?
Just the thought that, stay firm, step out in faith, and, just don't give up.
Don't give up. Keep going for those dreams. Listen to those taps and prepare yourself because your dream is waiting for you to take it to that next level. Thank you so much, Shantha Mony. I am grateful that you're here. For everyone who's dropped in, we thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Be Real, Get Real podcast. Until next time, make it an amazing day. Bye, Shantha. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.